Hey, this is Matt. Once again, what about in the videos that the paid request this time from Michael. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, this is a review of The Fury from 1978, directed by Brian De Palma. Now, I do quite like Brian De Palma as a director. My favorite being Starface from 1983. I also quite liked The Untouchables. I enjoyed Casualties of War. I do like I don't mind Blowout. Body Double. I did quite like that one. That's actually one I would like to rewatch again someday. I even like Mission to Mars. I know a lot of people don't, and some of the effects don't hold up that well. But I do quite like Mission to Mars. And I even like Snake Eyes. It has its issues. If you watch the trailer, it doesn't rate the entire fucking film, but I do like Snake Eyes, so. And Carrie, of course. I do like Carrie. I'll be honest, this is one of the ones I'm not that fond of. There are nice moments of set pieces, and particularly the ending, but this is a film that felt like hey, Terry worked, and that was about psychic shit, telekinetic shit. Let's do it again. Only not nearly as successful, because I do think Terry is a better film than this. Because I thought Terry was more focused. This one didn't seem like it was as focused as that film, and it felt like there was a weird mix of tones, where it was espionage, action, but then it's horror, but then you have a bit of comedy, but then you have this and that. And I know it's based on a novel. I never read the novel. So if the stuff I complain about was in the novel, then what can I say? Then I blame the source material. But it's got Kirk Douglas, who I do like as an actor. He's an ex-CIA guy. He's with his psychic son, played by Andrew Stevens, who I honestly remember the most from The Terror Within. But I know he was also in, I believe, 10 to Midnight with Charles Bronson. And they meet up with a guy who used to know Kirk Douglas, guy played by John Cassavetes. If I knew how to say his name right, John Cassavetes. One thing leads to another, these bad guys attack, and Kirk Douglas has to get out of the way, and they're trying to kill him, and one of them's even filming the stuff. And you come to find out that John Cassavetes is with the bad guys. He's doing this to try to kill Kirk Douglas and film it, because he wants the psychic son to himself, and they're going to fuck him up and abuse him and make him into a weapon. Now, what kind of weapon and all the little details of that, I'm not sure if it went as delved into as far as it could have. Now, that's where it would try to remind me a bit of Firestarter. Now, honestly, I don't know which I would rather watch, this or Firestarter, because I didn't see the new Firestarter. But anyway, during this battle, I don't really understand. There's a bit where Kirk Douglas gets a machine gun, kills some bad guys. But then he gets on a boat, and he starts driving away, and I don't really understand why, because he has a machine gun, and he could duck and move and shoot the bad guys, but he just decides to say fuck it, even though he doesn't know if... He has to secure the perimeter. He has to secure and see how many bad guys are at and where they're at. So he takes a boat and he drives into the open water so now everybody can see him. That seemed like a really stupid fucking decision. I'm in cover. I'm protected. I had a machine gun. Maybe it ran out of bullets, I don't know. But okay, I don't know where these bad guys are. So let me get on a boat and go into open. Hey, look at me. I'm in a boat. You can't see me. So lo and behold, they shoot at the boat. It explodes. Andrew Stevens thinks his dad is dead. They take the son away. But Kirk Douglas jumped off. He survived. Realizes his buddy fucked him over. Wounds him. just to fuck out, and then sometime later. I forget how much time transpires. But I'm just like, Kirk Douglas, what the fuck are you doing? Why the fuck did you go into the boat into the wide open water for everyone to fucking see you? Why'd you do that? And then it goes into this kind of conflicting story of Kirk Douglas looking for his son, and then Amy Irving, who was in Carrie, she finds out she's got powers, and she goes to this institute, and this montage of them kind of prepping her up and testing her. It's like these two stories in one movie. You have the Kirk Douglas stuff, where at times a bit more comedic than I thought it would be. Like, he takes his family hostage, but like I fear she was like the grandma. It's like she's cool with it. It's like, yeah, those feds, they get in your way, you shoot them, you kill them. And like she sees her family is tied up in debt. He's like, whatever, I'll take care of you later. Or like there's a bit where Kirk Douglas has a disguise and he commandeers a police officer's vehicle. There's two of them. One of them is a very, very, very young Dennis Franz. I'm like, oh shit, that's Dennis Franz. Which whatever happened to Dennis Franz? That's a guy you never hear of. I actually want to look that up. What happened? Is he still with us? Because this is a guy that NYPD Blue, and he was in some movies. Like he was in Die Hard 2. You get the fuck out of my airport. He was in City of Angels with Nicolas Cage. I should want to look that up. What happened? Because I always thought Dennis Franz was a good actor and reminded me a bit of, James Gandolfini and other actors. But a lot of that's played for comedy where they're really scared and they don't know what to do. And Dennis Franz is just adamant, just please don't do anything to my car. Please don't do anything to my car. I really like this car. And there's a car chase where they get away from the bad guys, but ultimately Kirk Douglas takes the car, rams the car off the road. Oh no, my car. Now, I don't know why he rams the car off the road into the water instead of driving away. Because it's not his car. And he just drive it away to where he needs to go and then dump it. But whatever, he does that. Let me see. This is from 2023. Oh, the actor who played his son, Austin Majors. I guess that was NYPD Blue. So his character's son, Austin Majors, died of fentanyl overdose at age 27. Yeah, I guess he took that hard. This post is made, oh my god, he looks so... I mean, he doesn't look that bad for 78 years old. I didn't realize he was 78 years old. Jesus. I guess he retired. I guess this... The last film he was in was City of Angels, 1998. And then TV... Yeah, 1998. Well, no. NYPD Blue was 2005. So I guess he just stayed until NYPD Blue was done and fuck it. Yeah. But hey, over 260 episodes, 12 seasons. Probably made a lot of money from that. So hey, you don't retire, why not? So I just this is just a good actor that yeah, I get. Why not? Live your life. By the way, get back to the movie. Just a lot of that's played for a bit of comedy. At least that's what it looked like to me. And then I don't think it was meant to be funny. But when Kirk Douglas gets out of the water and he calls a girl he knows, Carrie Snodgress, where I remember she was the main villain in Charles Bronson's Murphy's Law. The way he says, "I need your body, baby. Come on, it's me." Because he's calling her and she's like, "Listen, it's so late at night." And the way he says, "I need your body, baby." I mean, I never thought that if you want to call for help, that the line you should say is, "I need your body, baby." I need your body, baby. Sounds like a fucking song. I need your body, baby. Come on, it's me. And that's what I mean. It's like it goes into that stuff, and that made me laugh. Probably not supposed to. And then Amy Irving and her performance at times was okay. At times, just seemed very hysterical, as in she's just in hysterics, crying. And it's a montage of her at the institute. I didn't really think that was that interesting. I thought it was a bit of a slog to sit through. And then you don't even see Andrew Stevens, who's like a primary part of the plot until like he's at the very beginning, and then you don't see him like really at all, except maybe these two visions she has that just showcase that he's been abused. One reason he's pushed out a window, I can't remember why he was pushed out a window. I just like he's like, "Leave me alone," and then they push him out the window. Because they're dicks, that's why. The other is that they show the footage of he thinks his dad is dead, so they keep showing him the footage to mess with him, torture him. And then there's a bit where Andrew Stevens, when he's more in the film, he's at this amusement park and he makes a ride go crazy and the ride flies off. And I mean, there's some decent directing style by Brian De Palma. Like, for example, there's a bit where Carrie Snodgress realizes that, hey, this girl Amy Irving could help, and also she could be in trouble. You should get with Kirk Douglas, help him find his son. His son is the visions you're seeing. So there's a bit where, well, first off, Kirk Douglas kind of gets her killed because it's a nice looking shot where he's in a car with a gun, the camera zooms in on him and he shoots. And you have this slow-mo where the guy gets shot, but he swerves the car and then it hits Carrie Snodgress. So granted, Kirk Douglas didn't do it on purpose, but still I'm thinking, good job, pal. You fucked up. But then this other guy's trying to attack Amy Irving, and Kirk Douglas starts shooting the guy. But it's all done with music. There's no sound effects during that scene where he shoots the guy. Okay, that was a nice, interesting touch. Shake it up a bit. But here's the thing, like, this movie is about 2 hours or so. It feels like the primary meat of the matter is Amy Irving and Kirk Douglas getting together to find Kirk's son. They don't meet till like 90 minutes in the movie. And even then, it's pretty much they share one bus ride together, and then it's them wandering around this facility outside while Andrew Stevens senses the girl and says, "Oh, you want her to take my place?" And pretty much takes the female, I forget her character's name, and spins her around. Which I swear to God, I kept thinking of the song, "You spin me right round." Spins her to death. Which, I gotta be honest, it looked fucking ridiculous. I mean, yeah, she's bleeding profusely, but just like, she's still just spinning to death. Faster, huh? Faster. I don't know, just having a person spin to death doesn't really come off as intense or scary to me. It just came off as kind of hilarious. Unintentionally hilarious, but watch that scene and then play this song. You spin me right round, like a record, baby. I'm like, come on, man. Like, you look at Carrie, those scenes didn't come off as silly, where the ending where Sissy Spacek and fuck up all the folks in there. Here it came off as ridiculous, and then Kirk Douglas, they allowed Kirk Douglas to go in, I guess because they know that Andrew Stevens is far gone, psychotic now, schizo. And Kurt is like, hey, it's me, your dad, but he's not seeing it. They go out the window. Kirk Douglas tries to help. Andrew Stevens scratches his face. Now, literally 2 minutes before, we saw that Andrew Stevens can levitate. He can levitate. He's levitating. He's flying. He can fly. But then literally 2 minutes later, he's hanging off this balcony. Why does he levitate? Why is he not just levitating and levitate down? Why does he fall to his death? We just saw him levitating a minute or two ago. Why does he fall to his death? And then, I think I did see this ending a long time ago as what made me not want to watch the rest of the film. Because Kirk Douglas, he sees that his son is dead. He's so overcome with grief, he screams and he jumps off the roof himself and he dies. I know people could say, well, Matt, he's grieving for his son. He has nothing left in his life. But the way they built up the character is that either kind of funny scenes of him taking his family hostage or dealing with the two cops and the cop, again, please don't fuck up my car. Or him shooting a few people. Wouldn't you want to be like, I'm going to kill you, motherfucker. I'm going to shoot this guy. I'm going to be pissed off. I'm going to make sure these guys who did this to my son not get away with it. So, it may be just, you fucking idiot. Like the Kirk Douglas's character. It just, okay, you want to be bleak? Good for you. I don't think it was that satisfying. I thought it was really stupid. I thought it was really dumb. Also, I find it funny that the girl, Amy Irving, has no reaction. She has a reaction to Andrew Stevens' death. She has zero reaction to Kirk Douglas' death. Zero reaction, zero screaming, zero fucks given. Doesn't feel or say or... Not even a moment where Kirk Douglas is dying and he tries to say some words to Amy Irving. Nothing. So I just thought it just fucking sucked. I mean, why doesn't Kirk Douglas say, you know what, I'm pissed off. These guys killed my son. I'm going to go kill the motherfuckers. But no. Instead, Andrew Stevens in his dying moments gives his power to Amy Irving. I'll be honest, I wish this film did not have Amy Irving's character in it. If you made much more of a tighter suspense, where Kirk Douglas is going through up and down turmoil to find his son, you go back to him and his journey, and you go back to Andrew Stevens, and the more he's tortured, and the more tests he's doing, and the more violent the tests get, to the point that they give him a job for this amusement park. Maybe earlier they tell him do this, he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't want to hurt anybody. No, I'm not going to hurt this person. But the more he's tortured, the more you see that he's far more and more gone under this schizocytosis, the more he's willing to kill, and then it leads up to the amusement park scene or something else. And then you cut that back to Kirk Douglas on his journey, finding his son, to find his son, until ultimately you could have him levitate, but maybe Kirk has to kill his son. Maybe there's a bit where his son begs him, please kill me. I can't deal with this anymore. It's too far gone. Or something else happens. Or his son dies tragically. Something happens, and the son gives his power to his dad. Like his son has become such of a psychic ball of energy that he can literally give his power in his dying days. Like maybe he doesn't believe his dad's alive, but in his dying moments he realizes, oh my god, you're alive? Yes, it's me. They didn't get me. And then like Andrew Stevens has this moment like, oh my god, if I would have known, if I could have known, I thought you were fake. I thought you weren't real. And then the bad guys, being the dickhead, take him up. And then the son, like, grabs his dad. And maybe by doing it, like, Kirk Douglas' eyes bleed. And then they tie up Kirk Douglas, and the bad guy's like, whatever. What information? Have you told anyone else about this information? Have you told anyone else about it? He's, like, tied down. And then Kirk Douglas starts doing the shit. Like, Kirk Douglas starts flying, pushing people through windows with his mind. He has more of a killer instinct because he was former CIA. And he does this and he does that. And he goes up to John Cassavetes, and then he gives, like, this good and passionate speech of what you did to my son. And you know, you have like Mel Gibson gave his big speeches and ransom, give it back my son. But here it's, what you did to my son, you killed my son. And Kirk Douglas is capable of that. Good actor, may he rest in peace. And then he makes the motherfucker blow up. Because what happens is at the end, John Cassavetes tries to warn up to Amy Irving. Then she starts using her powers that she got from Andrew Stevens and herself combined. Great explosion. Very, very bloody. Definitely the best part of the movie. I think this was even done before Stanners, I believe. And yeah, because Stanners was 80s. I believe it was 80s, yeah. So before Stanners. Although there's some bad editing in that scene too. For example, if you watch the scene when she's going back with her palms up like this. Like she's getting John Cassavetes, he's shaking, her palms are up. Then the very next shot, her hand is down and trembling like this. Because her hand's here and then John Cassavetes is here. Well, this is part of the poster, but imagine her hand's tingling and John Cassavetes is over here. Then it cuts to her hands being up like this. Then cuts back to her hand down like this. Then cuts back to 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 this. That is not good editing. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, or at least continuity. Maybe it's not that, it's the continuity. It's like palms up, then down here. Then up, then down. It's like they shot this, then they shot the whole scene of this, and they thought, well, just go in between. Well, the hands don't match. Oh, who does this shit? Who's gonna notice? I don't notice that shit, and I even noticed. Don't believe me? Watch the film again. She's going up like this, and next shot she's doing this. And next shot she's this. And that took me out of the scene. It's a good, bloody explosion, but it's like, it just took me out. Because Brian De Palma can do better. He's a great director. I don't know how he didn't notice that. Maybe he didn't care. Maybe it was too late. He couldn't do anything about it. But that's a really glaring bit. Like, if it's doing this, why isn't up close her hand doing this? With John, and then you keep that, and her hand doing this. Why is it this to this, then this to this, then it's like this to this, this to this. It just took me out of it. This Rick Baker, some nice makeup effects by him. John Williams, decent score. It's pretty much, hey John Williams, can you do a version of Bernard Herrmann from Psycho, like that era? Sure. So it's definitely more of a unique John Williams story compared to Superman, Indiana Jones, Star Wars. It's a different vibe, but it's nicely done. John Williams, which I think he's retired. Definitely one of the best composers ever. I don't mind Kirk Douglas' performance. John Cassavetes did fine. Some nice Rick Baker effects. Amy Irving, I didn't give a shit about her character, to be honest. Andrew Stevens, I thought he was underdeveloped. He's at the very beginning, then like one or two scenes where he's being fucked with, and then evil. Again, weird mix of tones. It's like, do you want to be a horror film? You want to be a thriller? You want to be, whatever. I think it would have been better if Amy Irving's character was completely taken out. It was just Kirk Douglas finding his son, and Kirk Douglas taking care of business at the end. I think that would have been a stronger narrative. I think it would have been more focused. I think it would have been better paced. And the ending would have been much more satisfying to me if it's a father taking revenge for his son, not this lady who just whatever. She just got these visions of this guy just because they're both psychics. So there's other De Palma films I like more. Like I said, Carrie, Casualties of War, Blowout, Scarface. Yes, even Mission to Mars, the Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes. I don't know why I sounded that more southern now. Snake Eyes, redneck, is like I like them Snake Eyes there. That's just me though. So I'm not a huge fan of the movie. That's just me. With that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.